Okay, here is everyone again. Thank you for joining us for the third session of self-sabotage on our self-discovery group. And we've got like a few people that would love to be actually been part of the energetic process, but they cannot be present today. So I'm really grateful to both of you for showing up today. And I know Angelica is trying to join us, but she's got internet problems. But without your participation, this wouldn't be the same. So thank you for sharing and for doing your self-reflection work with me. And let's see how this last session kind of pans out. So because we are only, the two of us at the moment, I don't need to find a priority person. We can just share a little bit and see what comes up. So I found that the root cause of this, although I don't know yet what that means for us, is on an emotional level. Had to work on the body point of the DNA. So that won't mean much for you, Louis, maybe, except you know that our DNA, or you wouldn't know the body point. Partha, are you working with body points?
Yes. DNA? Yeah, okay. I'm on module 2, so yeah, DNA is there.
That's awesome. So I did the whole balance yesterday on the chart with all your handwriting underneath. So that's where the energetic process starts the day before. So that's why I need everyone's handwriting and everything so I can get going on that, because you're part of that energetic process, which means you're going to be shifting things, having realizations and all of that without doing this verbal processing. But the verbal processing helps us to clarify and put everything into some kind of reasonable understanding as to, what the balance was all about. So the DNA contains our genetics and our inherited traits. So, we can just bear that in mind when we come through the emotions and the stories and see how that plays out in our genetics and how it might be playing out historically as well, So T cells was another one which fights infections, and neurotransmitters, which regulates your serotonin and your dopamine. So, those are the chemical transmitters. Your larynx, which is you're connected with your voice box. So again, these are not just all physical, but they are multidimensional points. So we look at them to see sometimes as a practitioner, how the story then plays out. So for example, voice box, what is it maybe you're not able to voice right now about part of this story? So we'll go back to these points if I need to, just to say, oh, that makes sense now, why these points have come up. But otherwise, we just focus mostly on what the words mean for us individually, and then we can have a look and see, well, what's collectively going on out there for, the collective consciousness as well, because we all play a part in what is happening. So as we are healing ourselves, I think I've mentioned this before, we're sending out a positive rippling effect as we raise our own vibrations to the collective consciousness. So we never have to feel insignificant. We are all doing our part by working with ourselves. So we had, I haven't put these into order, so I'm just going to tell you again and repeat. We had a fear connected with making decisions. As I said this prior to chatting, going on the recording, that this making decisions is something that's coming up for me at the moment with other balances that I'm doing. So again, it just shows us this making decisions is part definitely of the collective consciousness of what's going on. And it doesn't surprise me with all the challenges we've been faced with, that some of us are having to make new decisions going forward with our lives. Nothing is exactly the same as what it was before. Fear connected with hunger. So what is that? A hunger for what? Don't just think it's a hunger for food. It might not be anything to do with a hunger for food. It might be just a hunger for your ambition, what you want in your life. So don't put these words in a box. Just see how that reflects out in your life right now, because this is all current. What are you hungering for right now, for example? Perseverance. It's neither positive or negative. So again, just see what that means for you right now. When sex abuse comes up, it doesn't necessarily mean it's you per se. So just have a look at that and see what's going on around you. Family, friends. Don't put the sex abuse into one box either, because it could mean many, many, many things. And
Also mean with yourself, right?
sorry.
Could also mean with yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it could mean with yourself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, it's very personal, and you know, you only share your thoughts and your feelings on it, and I'm helping to guide you to say, is this your story or not? So I'm checking out with you energetically, whatever you're saying, I'm checking it out so that we can hone in to see, you know, what is your story here? How is it playing out in your life? Run away. What are we running away from? And there was a positive affirmation here, so that would be interesting to see how we can utilize the positive affirmation. I am safe, I trust life. And the area of life that it's connected to, we call it a life field, Louis. Life field is an area of life that the story is connected to. So that helps us then to hone in a little bit more on, you know, what is this story getting us to look at? And here it is purpose. So what is your purpose? What is our purpose? Do you have a purpose even going forward? You know, so those are just some ideas of ways to look at it. And I do have a list in front of me to ask guiding questions if we need to, and see where this balance is going to take us. Now, the modality which we've given at the end is financial planning, and that's more long-term financial planning. So maybe that might even have something to do with our fears around making decisions, if it's connected with financial implications, for example. Okay, so yeah, Partha, what are your thoughts on these words? And you've had a chance to ponder on them. What were
Oh, there's quite a bit. All right. So let me start with larynx first. When you So I'm a singer, I have a practice of classical singing, but since I began studying it and trying to practice, it's always just I've always felt dissatisfaction. There's every time I practice, every time I try, it feels like my voice isn't good enough. It's not there yet. And I can't express myself correctly. And that makes me not go deeper into the practice. It's like I've been learning for what, almost 5 years now. And I'm not where I thought I would be. I mean, I know people who got to where I am in about a year and a half or two. And that's because I don't get involved in it. I don't jump into it because that sense of dissatisfaction and the impatience prevents me from it. And that's really heartbreaking because every time I try to practice again, I have to face that so much time has been wasted, and well, it feels like it's been wasted, and yet I don't like the sound of my voice most of the time, and I don't know what to do about it.
Okay, all right, that's interesting because you've associated that with, instead of an emotion, you've associated the body point that came up. So
Yeah.
if you had to associate that with an emotion here, like for example, what comes up for me when you're talking I feel almost inclined to ask you, and this isn't an energetic thing, I'm just going on my intuition here. I feel inclined to ask you, you know, what do you hunger for? That, you know, do you hunger for this enough? What are your fears that are holding you back from achieving what you want to
That
achieve?
the fact that So what I hunger for is to sound good. I hunger to create really good, like I love the feeling of singing something and it sounds amazing to me. And I've had moments like that. And but when I keep trying and while I'm trying it doesn't sound good, that really demotivates me. It's the effect of failure. I feel like even tiny failures just suck out so much of my perseverance that I crash. And
Mhm.
and that makes me either stop or start leaning on doing the easy things instead of
Right.
pushing. I stop pushing.
So
because
it goes
failure
back to the
comes
previous
up.
balance on
Yeah.
self-sabotage where procrastination came up and that. So it's like, as you see, what happens with these series of sessions, it's like I'm peeling the layers of an onion that you get to see the bigger picture each time.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
not that your story has changed, it's the same story that you're associating with in the previous balances, but it's getting you to look at another area here of connecting with your voice box, getting you to look at, well, what do I hunger for, and why where am I sabotaging myself here with self-criticizing, perhaps self-judging that I'm not good enough, my voice box isn't good enough, and so it then demotivates you back again into not persevering.
And if I may add, as you said that, DNA started to make sense to me because I mean I'm a psychologist and I do a lot of reading in terms of neuroscience and so forth. And in all my readings and connecting that to myself, what I've realized is I have a genetic sensitivity to failure. Right? There are certain people where the signal of failure just makes their brain go really haywire. For some people, it's anxiety that hits them that way. People panic about it, or it's stage fright. But a similar system is happening with me where failure just creates such an unnecessarily intense reaction in my brain. I feel like that's the part that I really need to heal at the genetic level.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing this work, because we're working energetically with this, because mentally it's quite clear to me that you understand exactly where this comes from, and you understand the genetics that you are carrying forward at a cellular level, that now you wanting to break that and you want to do that work because you know that these cellular memories carry on to other generations as it's been carried on to you. And so we can't be in total control or understand the metaphysical side of what happens, like when we're doing this work, but we trust that it is shifting something at a cellular level, because we're not just working at a mental level, we're working much deeper with the body on that. And all we can do is recognize and notice those shifts as they come up, which is why it's important to journal your realizations as we do this stuff, because after speaking to you the last time, Parthy, you did say, wow, I actually have noticed that since the session, I am feeling more motivated. I am doing things that I procrastinated on before. Is that still continuing for you?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's much, especially with my studying because I have my exams coming up soon. I'm really focused with that. I'm remembering things. I'm enjoying the process of studying. So that's really nice.
That's
But
awesome.
with music, it's still kind of up and down, but I'll get to that. I know that I'll deal with that. I
Yeah,
just need a
sure.
little bit more space.
Sure. And it's so funny, talking about voice box, have you ever noticed the first time that you speak and listen to your voice, how you almost like cringe? You say, oh my God, I hate the sound of my voice. It's terrible. I remember when voice recorders first came out, or even when people had to leave voice messages on those big tape recorders, when you had the old-fashioned phone and you would have to leave so many people would just put the phone down because they were scared of leaving a voice message. And obviously technology has changed that now, and we've adapted and we've become used to it. But if you turn the clock back, I don't know how many years it is, 25, 30 years or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember answering machines.
Yeah, and we hated the sound of our voice. But we are self-critical, because all it needs is someone to say to you, Papa, your voice is amazing. And it's having that affirmation. We are our worst critics. So I haven't heard you sing, but I would love to hear. And I'm sure Louis would as well. And you've got like an audience here of participants that are going to listen to this recording. And if you have got something recorded you'd like to send me,
Yeah.
and you're not too shy,
No, I'm
I
not.
think
Not at all.
I think we should give you our honest feedback on your voice.
I would love that.
Yeah, that would be lovely, Papa. I'm happy to do that. And it's honest criticism or whatever. I love watching those singing competitions, you know, and the judges are listening, and sometimes I'm drawn. I actually cry tears of emotion when I'm listening to some of those singers, and if they don't do anything for me on an emotional level, I just can hear straight away, no, I don't like this. And it's not that I don't like the song, it's like the passion or the feeling that goes into it that makes the difference. I don't understand anything about opera, but you know, they're singing and you get to feel the passion and the emotion behind it, and that's what does it for me with music and singing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree completely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
So
it's
let's
that part that gets blocked though. The feeling gets blocked when you don't like the sound of your voice. I can't encode that feeling because I'm not content.
right,
So
right.
that's the
Exactly. We've got 5 more minutes with you, Parth, and then I want to move over to Louis.
just,
So,
wait, just one
so
second.
we kind of getting the picture together, which is great. So, how does that affect, for example, for you making decisions going forward? Because this is a fear.
So I
Of
would.
running away.
The thing is, I think it's got to be a lower sensitivity to the feeling of failure, and it's much better than it's ever been, because there was a time when I would hear something or remember myself doing something, and I would physically not. I mean, it wasn't just a cringe. I would like spasm, or I'd be walking somewhere and I'd remember a mistake I made, and I would just stop, unable to move for 30 seconds. And that doesn't really happen anymore. So I know that it's gone down, but I'm still at that boundary where sometimes I feel like I'm not good and I stop, and I really would like to make the decision of not stopping.
Okay, so that again, that work in with run away, that I don't want to run away from this. I would face my fears in making decisions to
Mhm.
continue to believe in myself. I am safe, affirming I am safe and I trust life.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then that does that put you back then on purpose with your life and your
Yeah.
music? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Parth. I think we've wrapped up that, and your contribution there was fantastic. Your insights and your honesty and openness and everything. And I can't wait to hear you sing. Thank you. Lovely. So Louis, now you're getting a feel for how a consultation works on a one-on-one with somebody. So now there's just two of you. So it's great because we got literally half an hour each person. Oh, we didn't work with sex abuse, Partha. I wonder how I avoided that. Sorry, I'm going back.
Okay.
You
Probably
don't
a little
have to
bit of
make.
my resistance as well. But I did think that if you didn't mention it, I wouldn't say anything. So I guess it's good that you mentioned it. So for me, and I'm being very candid here, uh, that brings up masturbation, because I've had a lot of issues with that all my life, for quite a long time. Addiction to it, using it as a drug, and it kind of goes in and out. And it's difficult because I know that if I participate in it infrequently, it actually helps. But at the same time, there's guilt associated with it. There's also it's just a drug. For the past 3-4 days, it's been a drug for me, and it's been hard for me to stop. And I get into this mode whenever I have to work, whenever I have to study, when there's exams coming, because it takes me back into that headspace of being a schoolboy, right? And yeah, I don't really, it's such a weird thing. Sometimes there are phases in my life where it doesn't matter. It's not even, I don't even want to. But there are some other times when it's compulsive, right? So
Okay. And is there anything else that you kind of would like to add to that? If this wasn't kind of quite it, like what else?
well, there's also, I think, my way of looking at relationships.
Okay, can we go along that line, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you for sharing the other, because very intimate what you just shared. And I understand that in a positive sense, just to make comment on that, although I don't think it's really related to your story, but to make comment on that, we are all looking for a release and outlet in times of stress. So, you know, that is one of them. I'm not sure whether, you know, I don't want to go down that road, because in as far as what you just shared, I don't think it's associated, but I do honor you and respect you for being open about that. Thank you. So yeah, so the other about relationship, I think there's more connected.
Well, over the past few years, my idea of relationships has become not very deep. It's been more about sex, and it's almost been like a way of collecting experiences for me, and novelty, like new women or new people that I'm attracted to, just take center stage, and it just feels like it is in a way abusing the sacredness of that act
Mhm.
to just
Okay.
go one after the other. Am
Okay,
I on
thanks.
track?
So
Yeah.
sorry, that's awesome. I'm sorry to be stopping you, but just because I'm doing the time. That is the story. This is very personal to you, so we don't have to air this, but
Sure.
please think along those lines for yourself
Right.
and see how you can use that to get more back into your spiritual side there, in as far as yeah, that connection. Because when you can connect like that and all these fears are out of the way and you're feeling safe and you're trusting life, you're going to trust the relationships, and you're going to find that depth and that beauty that you're seeking, instead of it just being an act, a performance. And you know that, I'm sure, and that is very valuable to anybody, you know, when you find that sacredness in something. So thank you again for drawing that to, yeah, thank you so much. Wow, Louis.
It's a hard act to follow.
Yeah, well, it's not even an act. You know what it is? It's absolute transparency. And Partha is a psychologist, so he's used to speaking openly about things, whereas most of us aren't. We hold on to our privacy, like our dear life. So you only, and anybody who comes here only shares what you're comfortable with sharing, because remember, this is your journey. So already Partha has contributed a lot for people, and I'm very grateful for that. And when this is not just for everyone else's benefit, it is for your benefit, because you are taking advantage of me being here facilitating the process. Like, I could have left Partha saying, you know, what he said originally, thinking that was it, but it wasn't. And I've given him now something to really think about on another level, that it wouldn't have transpired if I hadn't been facilitating the process. He would have been left thinking it was, you know, the first thing he spoke about.
Yeah, much respect to Partha. I'm not sure if I'm that brave yet to speak so candidly.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So holding that in honor of you, Louis, please, if you've spent some time on this, which I'm sure you have, please just start with sharing what you're comfortable with sharing here, in whatever order you would like.
Came up mostly for me, I think, that I could ponder on the most was the fear around hunger, where I think I lack a fear of hunger, because if you experience proper hunger at some stage in your life where you didn't have anything to eat for 2 days and you really feel like a raisin, that's real hunger. And since then, when you feel like a snack, or that's we're so spoiled, that's first world problems. We think we're hungry, but we eat 3 meals a day, and it's 3 bulky meals a day. We've got no idea what hunger really is. So since I've had that experience, I tend to slack off when it comes to taking care of myself in the sense of food. not that I have to be hungry at that degree to experience, well, to take care of myself, but I should be taking better care of myself in the sense of eating vegetables, eating 3 times a day. If my partner Chantal's not here, then I eat cornflakes and wheat bix and peanut butter salmis the whole day. Because I'm lazy, it solves the problem. But I can take better care of myself in the sense of having a fear around hunger. I mustn't use that degree of hunger as my only degree of hunger.
Okay, very good. We'll come back to that. So I want to ask you, leading you in another direction for now. What would run away mean for you right now, currently in your life? Running away, run away.
Run away as it relates to purpose.
Don't even relate it to anything. It makes it complicated. Just think intuitively of the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about run away. What if you said, say, I'm running away from something, or run away, something could be running away with you. It's not that you're running away from something. So remember, not to put these words in a box, but what are you running away with right now? It could even be running away with for your purpose. It could be associated like that. We got to start somewhere, and then we kind of hone in once we've got the story.
Comes to mind is that maybe I want to run away and get on a yacht and go and sail. In that sense, that's kind of that deep subconscious or chihuahua behind me that keeps on chasing me is go sail, go sail, go sail. So maybe I want to go run away. And I love where we live, but I don't want to stay here and sit here the rest of my life. We've got a place that is beautiful, but there's more to life than.
Good. So your purpose is setting out here, your purpose, and as far as your life purpose, the purpose for your life, you've already said, I don't want to sit here in this place for the rest of my life. I want to do things with my life. And one of the things that I'm wanting to do right now is I want to run away from this, and I want to experience new things.
Exactly that.
Okay, keep that in mind, because that's leading us into the story. Yeah. So what stops you from hungering for that? Where are the fears for you about doing that? What are the fears?
I think the fears mainly is the fear of the unknown and taking care of the place while I'm somewhere else. I think those are the two main fears, is establishing headquarters or base to be maintained and doesn't just go dilapidated. Someone's got to take care of the house. So there's that responsibilities on this side that might keep one here, me here. And then yes. So the hunger might also be the hunger for sailing that makes me want to run away.
Yes, but the fears that are there are the normal fears of change. When we make decisions for change, there's going to be fears associated with stepping out and taking the first decision to that change, because otherwise it's just a thing in your mind that you want to do, but you haven't actioned it yet. And it's either not the right timing, or your fears are holding you back from making the first decision of what needs to be done, so to speak, because those are real concerns. How's the house going to run? How's your partner going to cope? You won't be around. What is it going to do to your relationship is probably another consideration for you. All those things are there, but here, this is your life and your purpose for moving forward is about change, and change is scary. Change is scary. Yeah.
But I think I regret not taking action more than staying in my safe zone. my words from last week was one of the words were dumped last our previous session, and that for me was comfort zone came up a lot. Was currently I'm in my comfort zone, and my fears are also just being stuck in the comfort zone, and I brought that comfort zone. So I must step out of my comfort zone. That's I think one of the things keeping me back, because life is good. We live in beautiful KZN next to the beach. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We're not so involved with the political turmoil. We have our episodes and load shedding, but generally we have life good. So it's like a nice comfort zone that inhibits me from taking action towards going sailing.
Sure. So again, it goes back to that positive affirmation, which I think we've got time to do a short little meditation. I am safe and I trust life. You know, if we could fully integrate that, that, you know, in your, you know, when you're doing your yoga, you set your intention for the day. So when you're doing your intention, I am safe, I trust life. And yeah.
I'd like to think that I know I'm being taken care of. University. Trust the universe, and the universe will take care of you. And I'd really like to think that's how I think. But I know that there's a difference between thinking you know something and actually knowing something, or thinking about the path and walking the path.
Sure. So for you to look at this word perseverance now, with what your purpose is, your purpose for life, and making decisions, and, you know, working through those fears, what you hunger for your purpose and for change in your life. What would perseverance, how would perseverance support you here right now?
I think that's keep your eye on the prize, keep your eye on the goal, because it's like the hot tub effect. You get out of the hot tub and you're all warm and clean, but it's just temporary. So I'm all excited and passionate about going sailing now, and I might have applied for a job or two and look for sailing job or crewing possibilities online. But then as the hot tub effect fades, then you go back to your old routine. So I must maintain perseverance to continue my journey towards my purpose, my passion.
Okay. And how have you traditionally been with perseverance in the past? How do you rate yourself with your perseverance?
I think I've probably always only done enough to get past, to get the job done, but I never went for A+ student. I just wanted to be the student to make enough, have a good enough score to pass the grade kind of approach, as opposed to go all out and see how good you can do.
How does that make you feel right now, Louis?
That's what if I maintain that attitude, then I'll be stuck in my comfort zone forever.
And so, I am betrayed. Who are you betraying?
Myself through and through. If I embrace my comfort zone, then I'll be betraying myself and my Partha wants to sing. He's got a passion to sing. I'll be betraying my passion to get out onto the water and to be an adventurer and experience the rough seas. And yes, I think.
Okay. Is that like a realization for you that, you know, with what you've been doing with your life in the past, not giving it all your best and putting yourself out there with perseverance to do what you need to do, that it's a kind of form of, again, self-sabotage, betraying yourself?
Yes, very much so. And I feel that the previous 3 words, our first exercise, and you helping me on the phone after the call, was a enlightening moment or revealing, in the sense of, hey, I've got a purpose. What am I doing with my life? Take action, move forward, let go of this old. And these words and everything coming up seems to be relating to that realization of make the change you want to see in your life. Yeah.
And also, I mean, let's just have a look again at this sex abuse outside the box. I mean, you being a male, and, you know, whether you're male or female, we all, you know, have parts of ourselves that we needing to fulfill, you know, whether it's our masculinity, our femininity, or whatever. You know, I don't know if this comes in any way. I don't know why I'm going down this road. I've got no idea. It's just opening the box, I suppose. Does this say anything to you in the context of this story, or not really?
I can also relate with what Partha said about it being sexually abusing the self, and it might very easily become a habit or a distraction or a procrastination in order to avoid what you need to be doing. Or so I can relate with what Partha said, but I don't feel I've got energy or an emotion around it, because I also see it as natural and beautiful and nothing wrong with it. And it's self-appreciation or self-love, and it's a meditation, and we are blessed with these beautiful bodies. How unnatural would it be to deny us these pleasures that come with having this beautiful body? So I don't have a energy or a dark cloud following me on sexual abuse, so I kind of come up blank. But if we look at the bigger picture and outside of me and world affairs, then yes, we can see that sex abuse might.
Sure. So you've got the extremes here, which is interesting. We've got the extreme of where Partha was taking us earlier with, you know, his self-judgment, again, going into his self-judgment about his, you know, physical release and what have you. Again, a self-judgment. But we all yearn for that spiritual connection and that loving space with another person, to share the beauty of our sexuality, our sensuality, and to share that with someone special. And if you haven't got someone to share it with, it's about loving yourself enough from the right space as well. So should we just leave it at that for now? And yeah, you can ponder on that on your own any further. So we've just got like 10 minutes left. So how would you feel about maybe just taking just a few minutes to close our eyes and just connect with I am safe and I trust life? You okay with that? Okay, so your feet firmly on the ground, and you're preferably sitting upright in a chair if you can, not lying down on a bed, and have yourself supporting your own spine if possible. And just take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through your mouth. And again, nice deep breath in and out. And we slow everything down and just coming towards ourselves, forgetting everything else around us, and just spending this moment to connect with our hearts and our minds, and recognize that whatever is happening within the heart is going to affect the mind, and whatever is happening in the mind is going to affect the heart and affect the way we respond to life, whether it be fears about our voice, fears about moving forward with our dreams and our life purpose, fears about change, and knowing that when we come towards ourselves and love ourselves and trust that life is unfolding perfectly, that we can persevere with the right intention and without distraction. So for a moment, just go inward and just notice anywhere in your body where it feels unsafe. Just check in with the mind, any areas around the mind that feel unsafe. Any areas in the cells that have been passed on from you from previous generations connected with their fears. Let's talk to ourselves and let's tell ourselves, I am safe. Our cells are the very thing that give us life. And if we don't trust these cells, we don't trust life. So let's allow ourselves to trust. Any emotions that you've got holding anywhere in your body that's associated with fear or concern, just acknowledge it and breathe into it. Breathe into it, allowing your cells to take over, shifting and changing the DNA, the inherited traits, in other words. And knowing that when we do that, it's going to send the feel-good chemicals to our brain, which is then going to send the feel-good chemicals to the whole of our body as we come into a place of trust and feeling safe. And if you're not feeling safe right now because you've got a major decision to make, or you doubting yourself in some area of your life, just acknowledge that fear for a moment. And just say, it's okay. It's okay to feel this fear. It's okay because I can move through it. These are my challenges. By moving through it, I am going to feel good about myself, as opposed to looking back on my life and saying, I should have, I ought to have, but I didn't. Instead, we're going to say, I did it. I lived my purpose. I loved myself enough to follow through with my purpose. And remember, you can create a protection for yourself when you're not feeling safe. So after we come back into the space around us, moving forward with our lives, with whatever it is we are faced with right now, you can also call on your guardian angels, your spirit guides, your faith, whatever that may be, and just ask for protection during those unsafe moments. It doesn't have to just come from your own inner resources. The universe is supporting you. And connect with your own inner nurturing, and knowing at the same time that the universe is able to nurture you and support you. And even if sometimes you feel like giving up because you've tried everything and nothing works, come back to perseverance and trust and believe in yourself. Knowing that this is just playing out an old self-sabotage pattern that you are releasing and changing for future generations, as well as your own life. And just connect with your heart and feel the manifestation of that as if it's already happened. Feel the anticipation and the excitement of that first song that you make, that you listen to it and you say, wow, this is it. I now love my voice. And Yulu is stepping into your dream of moving away and exploring, seeking new things in your life, new excitement. You feel that you're living your life. Experiencing your life to its fullest. And give thanks. All of those things that you want for your purpose. And feel it as if you've already got it in your life. Picture it. Imagine already being there. And that's a gift you've given yourself through pure intention. I love and honor the love and the light that shines in you. Thank you. Thank you. When you're ready, you can slowly wiggle your fingers and your toes. Just bring yourself back to the room. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next month, we'll have something completely new. I will just check in to see what it is that we are collectively needing, and individually, obviously, whoever comes in on that vibration will be because they need it. And if you found this useful, please do share on the Telegram group or our WhatsApp group your experience of being facilitated through this process. And any shifts or changes that you notice for yourself, please do share it so it supports others, encourages others to persevere with what they need to do to break through their own limiting self-sabotage patterns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.